Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sridhar Reddy, President of TiE, member of CEO Club, and Managing Director, CtrlS and Cloud4C. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and more importantly, pleasure to have Mr. Sreedharan with us here. My association with Sreedharan goes back to almost 10 plus years. And there was a time as an entrepreneur, as you all would have faced challenges, I did face tremendous challenges. I probably the worst period of my entire career, the lowest curve, when I was almost going bankrupt. That was the time when I got really vexed up with my life. And I used to read in stories that you can go to Himalayas to find peace. That's what I did. I went to Himalayas, and in the place that where I was staying. So one day evening, I saw some people in the library. So I walked in there. There was Mr. Sreedharan giving a lecture. And that was, I sat there, I sat through that session and the next session and the next session. And then I got to know him. I spent that 8 days, almost 5-6 hours with him, going to walk, doing yoga and learning. And needless to say that it has changed my whole perspective on life, ability to deal with challenges. And overall, I made a new beginning after that meeting with Mr. Sreedharan. Since then, I stayed in touch with him. He's a part of our extended family now, not only for me, but also the leadership team of CtrlS. Almost pretty much everyone has gone through his lectures and immensely benefited. And I'm glad to have him here with us. And I look forward to all of you receiving the benefit that we all have because of him over the number of years. This is a time to where our entire lives have changed, and Sridharan and Vedanta wisdom will give us a new dimension to reinvent yourself today. So without much ado, I welcome Sridharan to start his lecture.
Thank you very much, Sridhar. And for all those attending, a very good morning. And Sridhar Reddy is like a brother to me, and CtrlS is like my company, so I feel obliged to their organization and all the employees there. So the topic today is time to reinvent yourself, especially at this particular circumstance in our life where we are going through various aspects in life. Like one is a lockdown. In India, it is a lockdown. It is you are by yourself, staying home, and there are so many other aspects coming up. So I just wanted to share some ideas with you which will help you to deal with yourself. As a result, there's a process of reinventing yourself which we can bring it up. First thing I want to start with this is, even the worst thing that can happen to you is meant to happen to you because it will push you to grow. Even the worst thing that can happen to any one of us can happen to any one of us because it will push you to grow. That's why I say the past is never equal to the future. The past is never equal to the future. It is in that moment of choice that your destiny is shaped. The past is never equal to the future. It is in that moment of choice that destiny is made. All these masters, the Himalayan yogis, they talk about the law of karma. Law of karma, what it states is, you are a product of the past, but you're also a producer of the future. At any given point of time, We are a product of our past, and we are also a producer of future. I mean, if you are not educated, if you have not gone through a proper schooling and university, you may not be educated. You may appear illiterate, but that you may not be like that rest of your life. You are a product of the past, but you are a producer of the future. And you are right now, you can work on yourself and improve yourself immensely. Therefore, that's why I say, at any point of time, you are a victim and a victor. If you look into the past, you are a victim, but you look into the future, you are a creator. Therefore, that's why I say, even the worst thing that can happen in our life, professionally, personally, the society level, it can happen because it is designed to push you to grow. That's what I want to tell you. So therefore, failure is not the opposite of success. Lockdown is not the opposite of freedom. Disruption is not the opposite of evolution. It is a part of evolution. Disruptions are a part of evolution. Failure is a part of success. Lockdown, stay home is a part of freedom. Why I want to tell you is there are secret or hidden opportunities in every failure. There are great potential in every disruption. So, I mean, I was on a lockdown for 3 years at the Vedanta Academy. 3 years of complete lockdown, meaning 4 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It was pursuing the karma, bhakti, and jnana yoga. Hatha yoga, karma yoga, bhakti, and jnana yoga. 3 full years, no weekends, no vacations, 4 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And all that I want to tell you was, if I have not done that, I will not be standing here and sharing this knowledge with you. I will be sitting and then listening to someone else. That's why I'm telling you. Therefore, failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Disruption is not the opposite of evolution, it is a part of evolution. Lockdown is not the opposite of freedom, it is a part of freedom. There are hidden opportunities in every disruption. There are great potential in every breakup. That's why the past is never equal to the future. It is in that moment of decision, in that moment of choice, your destiny is made. Understand, friends, karma is a very common word now. Law of karma states, I'm repeating it so that you digest that knowledge. You are a product of the past. When you look into the past, you are a product of the past. When it comes to the future, you are a producer of the future. At any point of time, you are a victim and a creator. So using that, you will be better off. If you don't use it, then you will get into a state of defeat. That's why I say no one is defeated until defeat is accepted as reality. No one is defeated until you accept defeat as reality. That's why it's essential to understand ourselves. And why I'm telling you is, the first step in reinvention is awareness. First step in reinvention is awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness when we are no longer able to change a situation. I repeat, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Life is not something that inherently has meaning. It is something we give meaning to. Life is not something which inherently has meaning. It is something we give meaning to. If you give your life a great value, a meaning to it, that is how life will turn out to be. That's why the first step is that. So it change starts from within. The next step in awareness is, you have decided not to stay with the attitude you have right now. You have decided not to stay with the attitude right now. When I say attitude here, attitude of complaining, it is being angry, being agitated, being frustrated, being annoyed. You decide. Next stage in awareness, in reinvention, is you have decided not to stay with the attitude you have right now. Let me tell you, friends, attitude is something. The way we understand attitude is, without changing anything externally, with a slight change in the way you think and feel, everything about your life changes. That's why I say disruption is not the opposite of evolution. Disruption is a part of evolution. Yes, failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Therefore, the attitude you have when you go through failure, when you go through a lockdown, is much more important than the attitude you have when everything is going well. When everything is going well, whatever you do is fine. It is only when things are not going in your favor or things going against you, you got to check your attitude. That's why, again, what is attitude? Without changing anything externally, with a slight change in the way you think, in the way you feel, and in the way you act, everything about your life changes. Everything about your life changes. That's why we always suggest to people, especially the people in the helm of affairs, focus on the positive things and positive people in your life. Focus your attention on the positive people, positive aspects of your life. You will be stunned at how many more positive experiences which starts happening in your life. That's why I say that with the right attitude, you will start focusing on the positive things in life, on focusing on the positive people in life. And let me tell you, it's a law. It works immaculately. You will be stunned at the number of positive experiences you will start experiencing. That's why it is very essential. And when you have that, what you have is confidence. When I said number one, awareness that when you are no longer able to change the situation externally, you are challenged to change yourself. Number one, that's the aware. Next is you make sure that the attitude I have right now is not right. The attitude of complaining, attitude of going through a difficulty, attitude of getting annoyed, getting angry. That you understand this attitude will not help. It does not help anybody. It is not going to help you, help me. Therefore, you, with that slight change in the way you think and feel, you are able to change everything externally. That's why I say that then you'll be able to focus on the positive things and positive people. This is when confidence grows. I'm telling you, the confidence is the most attractive quality in an individual right now. When I say confidence, I'm not talking about overconfidence. Confidence in your own quality, your own belief system. There is confidence. It is only when there is confidence to face the challenges of life, you are able to deal with it. See, that is why they say success is a result of good choices. It's very important, friends. I hope you take it in the right way. Success is a result of good choices. Good choices is a result of life's experiences. I repeat, success is a result of good choices. Good choices is a result of life's experiences. And how do you define experience? They say experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. I repeat, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So success is a result of good choices. Good choices is a result of life's experiences, and life's experiences is a result of bad choices. I'm saying that's one way to learn. That's why. Therefore, there is nothing as bad choices, friends. There's nothing as bad choices. That's why even if you made bad choice, acceptance of what has happened is the next stage in reinvention. You have made a bad choice. Accept that you made a bad choice. Of what has happened is the next stage in reinvention, and that's why I say, see, for you to develop acceptance, the 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 conversation you have with yourself must be right. That's why the most important agreements are the one you make with yourself. If right now you're feeling agitated, frustrated, angry, annoyed, the agreements you have made with yourself is wrong. Is wrong because you have made yourself dependent on the world of objects and beings for your happiness. You made yourself totally dependent on the external world of objects and beings for your happiness. How can anyone be happy now if your happiness is dependent externally? That's why I say the most important agreements are the ones you make with yourself. The most important words you speak are the ones you tell yourself. That's why you are where you are because of who you were, but where you go will entirely depend on who you want to be. What are the agreements you're making? Therefore, I'm saying, even bad choice, accept yourself. For reinvention of yourself, accept yourself. Let me tell you, friends, another important aspect. You have more power than you think. You have more power than you think. Your mind and intellect, in Sanskrit, manas and buddhi. Your mind and intellect are the most extraordinary tools you have. These tools are meant to give an avenue of reinvention. It's a beliefs are the hidden scripts that run your life. Beliefs are the hidden scripts that run our life. Belief in our ability to overcome obstacles, overcome challenges is a crucial part of the process. Therefore, your mind and intellect, your quality of emotions and thoughts, are the extraordinary tools we have to shape ourselves. That's why when you use the mind and intellect properly, how it works in reinvention, it will manifest as a vision for tomorrow, a goal for tomorrow. You will find power and purpose in today's work when you have a vision for tomorrow, a higher goal for tomorrow. All you have to do, friends, is to win more todays than you did yesterday. All you need to do is to win, to do well of the more of the todays than you did yesterday, and repeat the process one more time. Repeat the process again tomorrow. In simple terms, when you have a vision for tomorrow, you will find power and purpose in today's work. And all you have to do is to win more of today's than yesterday and repeat the whole process tomorrow. And that's why I say, whatever the goal, small daily improvements, small daily efforts can bring humongous results. Humongous results in reinvention. And all that I'm saying is, as human beings, we are blessed of this. One is the potential of choice, and then the capacity of reinvention. So that is what I'm trying to highlight here. And another important aspect I want to share is how you schedule your days is how you spend our lives. How you schedule your days is how you spend your life. What we do every day matters more than what we do once in a while. If CtrlS is successful, Cloud4C is progressive. That's why I say, what you guys do every day matters more than what you do once in a way. To all of you, one suggestion, there's a fabulous suggestion. Don't prioritize what's in your schedule. Schedule your priorities. To all of you who are listening to me, one fundamental suggestion: don't prioritize what's in your schedule. You have a schedule today. Don't prioritize. I need to do A, C, D. These are the things that don't schedule. Don't prioritize what's in your schedule, but schedule your priorities. Very important discipline which we have to bring about. Schedule your priorities. If you ask me, mental fitness is very essential. Physical fitness is also essential. Healthy food right now is with all the COVID-19 pandemic happening. Mental fitness is extremely essential. Even without it, I'm saying physical fitness is essential. Healthy food. You have to enjoy the work. I've been harping on this aspect. Work is worship. If you are enjoying work, work is worship. It is for me. I don't need to go to a place of worship. Standing here, sharing this knowledge with you is a form of worship for me. Is a form of prayer for me. I mean, it's not that I don't go to a place of worship. I may go to a place of worship if it is necessary, or if I had to go with a certain people. But work should become worship. When you go to your work, right now you may work from home. Some people have to go to their office. Work is worship. All that I'm saying is schedule your priorities. Mental fitness, physical fitness, family togetherness. Can I convert work into worship? I want to enjoy work. And the Yoga Shastras highlight about health. Two aspects they say. They says, if you are in good health, mental health and physical health, two aspects will manifest in your life. One is appetite. Appetite. When is appetite for living, appetite for laughter, appetite for food, and good sleep. Two aspects they say. If you are in good health when these two happen, that's the reason, as children and when you're growing up, these two aspects were there. We had appetite and we had good sleep. But what's happening to us now? You could have a six-pack and can't sleep at all. Or you could be, you could be strong, so-called strong, but you are frustrating yourself in certain aspects. Two aspects which highlights health, overall health, appetite and sleep. Two aspects. And externally you could be perfect, as if you are healthy, but do you have the appetite? Do you sleep well? All that I'm saying is schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize what's in your schedule. Schedule your priorities. And then, that's why, the way you start your day determines how beautifully you live it. Take good care of the front end of the day. The rest of the day will pretty much take care of itself. Pretty much take care of itself. That's why the front end of the day, early part of the day, mental fitness. Spend some time for yourself. Constructive thinking. You've been listening to it. In case you're making some notes, reflect on it. As you mentioned, am I prioritizing what's in my schedule, or am I scheduling my priorities? So repeat that. Therefore, there's a thinker who said the main thing is to keep the main thing as the main thing. I repeat, the main thing is to keep the main thing as the main thing. Can we do that? It is the main thing here is to convey this knowledge, this message to you. The main thing is to keep the main thing as the main thing. Then you will find solutions. Even in a lockdown, even in a disruption, if the organization growth is what it is, if that's the main thing. The main thing in a discussion is to keep the main thing as the main thing. Simple thing is, it appears a simple suggestion, but can go a long way. They say if you don't create change, if you don't create reinvention, if you don't create change, change will create you. Let me repeat it, and please etch this in your mind. If you do not create change, change will create you. Change will create you. That's why we are for. That's why if you don't, change will create it. Working from home or enjoying home food, getting up early. If you don't create change, change will create you. So that's why a few suggestions sometimes are stop doing list needs to be far higher, far greater than the start doing list. You may have a list. You want to start doing this, start doing that, but much more important than that is stop doing list. Plug the holes where your mental and physical energies get drained out. Plug that hole rather than start working on your start doing list. You have a start doing list, but the stop doing list keeps on increasing. Therefore it will not help. That's why again stressing upon the two fundamental factors in this lecture. Schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize what's in your schedule, but schedule your priorities. Number two, you've got to keep the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing as the main thing, which is your mind and intellect. I'm saying, your self-development, working on yourself. That's why the greatest tool you have is your mind and intellect. And then you can do wonders if you're able to do it. You will reinvent yourself. That's why if you believe, I'm not saying law of karma, you can test it out. You are a product of the past, but you're also a producer of the future. So that's why now if you say, friend, I like to do it, but I don't have time. Lack of time is actually a lack of priorities. Lack of time is actually lack of priorities. Find your inefficiencies and eliminate them, friends. Whatever inefficiencies, find it and eliminate those things. And find your strengths and multiply them. Find your strengths and multiply them. And let me tell you, the most important actions are never comfortable. Most important actions are never comfortable. They say between stimuli, the inputs from the world, and your response back to the world. You receive a stimuli from the world. Somebody tells you something. You receive that stimuli, that input from the world. Between the stimuli and response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power to choose. And in that choice lies your growth and freedom, friends. So very important point. Between stimuli and response, there is a space that you receive a stimuli from the world. You're dealing with your subordinates, your client. You're receiving an input from the world. Between stimuli and response, there is a space. And in that space lies the power to choose. And that choice determines your growth and freedom. Your growth and freedom. It could be even somebody provokes you. It is that stimuli you receive. Between stimuli and response, there is a space. If there is no space, somebody insults you, instantly you give out, you spit out with your anger. A stimuli. Between stimuli and response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power to choose. And in that choice determines your growth and freedom. Your growth and freedom. The better choices you keep making, your freedom from what? Freedom from agitations, freedom from anger, freedom from jealousy, freedom from frustrations. So all that I'm saying is try and work on it, because these are all important. These are crucial stages in life. Then you'll understand even the worst thing that can happen or is meant to happen because it is pushing me to grow. That's why it is why I'm telling you is we are all an infinite potential. In a few minutes, I'll conclude and I'll take up questions. We are all an infinite potential. We have no idea what our potential is. That's why many of the great masters highlighted being born as a human being is a blessing. And the next aspect is to have this potential and to raise ourselves. When I say potential, the potential of love, of forgiveness, of compassion, of gratitude, of wonderment. See, there are people who are pessimists. Pessimist is one who looks at every opportunity and converts into a difficulty. Any opportunity he or she considers as a difficulty. That's a pessimist. A philosopher, a thinker is one who looks at every difficulty and converts it into an opportunity. Right now, we are going through certain situations. If you have the right knowledge of life, if you're a philosopher of life, you are a student of life, you will convert this situation into an opportunity. And let me tell you, there are hidden opportunities all our life. Therefore, think about it. And another aspect, difficulties will be there all through life. When you're a child, you had a difficulty. When you're a youth, you had a difficulty. When you joined work, you had a difficulty. When you are in the middle age, your difficulty. Difficulties will be a part of our life. But what is difficult will keep changing at every stage in our life. There was a difficulty for 500 rupees maybe 25 years ago. Now you have a difficulty for 50 lakhs. I don't know. I'm just telling you, difficulties will be there. What is difficult will keep changing with every stage in your life. But all that I'm saying is, if you work on yourself, you'll be a different individual altogether. You keep reinventing yourself. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. The disruption is not the opposite of evolution. It is a part of evolution. Lockdown is not the opposite of freedom. Is a part of freedom. And working on your mind and intellect. That's why I said schedule your priorities. Keep the main thing as the main thing. Take care of the front end of the day, and let the stop doing list be higher than the start doing list. And then understand, if you don't create change will force you to create change. I would like to conclude with a great message of Rumi. He said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, I'm changing myself, said Rumi. 800 years ago, he mentioned. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm going to change myself. All that my wish to all of you is, work on yourself. And if when you bring about the change in yourself, you'll see the world is beautiful for you. And my assurance to you is the life is beautiful. It is how we make our own thought process, and the way you feel and think makes it beautiful or terrible. Think about it. Now I'm open to questions. I was given 20 minutes. I overshot by another 5-7 minutes. So I'll take up questions if you have.
Sreedharan garu, first question from me.
Yes.
You said about talked about mental fitness. We've been hearing a lot about physical fitness, but can you give us some examples of how do we improvise on the mental fitness? And for the rest of the audience, you can type in on your panel. You can type in your questions, which would come to us, and then we could read them out for you instead of opening up the webinar directly.
Yeah. In mental fitness, there are three ways we make choices. One is from the mind. If somebody tells you something, instantly we give out our impulse. There is an emotional reaction. That is one where we suffer. That's why, see, for us to work on mental fitness, one aspect we should observe. If you have made a choice of action, and if that choice you made comes back and agitates you, it is a sign you have to work on your mental fitness. If you have made a choice and then it doesn't agitate you, maybe you're okay. But if you made a choice and that choice comes and agitates you, nobody is telling you no. You yourself tell, why did I do it? That's not me. That is me. I'm not that kind of a person. Why did I do it? When that happens, it is a sign. Now that you suggest that, let the choices be a confluence of mind and intellect. The confluence, you have heard this term many a time. Whatever the mental, in simple terms, you like exercises, you like cycling. It is what you ought to do will also becomes what you like to do. Mental fitness. It is not an aspect of your emotion alone. Many times when I say mental fitness, you may make a choice based on emotions, and that could be detrimental.
So when there is a conflict happens, what do? You deal with it. You go back and change the decision.
I mean, when a conflict happens, one is if you have the clarity, if you know something, you made a wrong choice, and if you think you can rectify the choice, go ahead and rectify the choice. Go ahead and rectify the choice. What doesn't allow us to rectify the choice is our ego. I will let him come and tell me, and then I can also bring it. Ego doesn't help us. Number one, ego is a perpetual beggar. Ego can survive only when you keep feeding the ego all the time. The moment you stop feeding the ego, it will collapse. So, one aspect we want to work out on mental fitness is it my ego influencing this choice, or is there a confluence of mind and intellect? Mind and intellect is there. You like to do it, and that is what you ought to do. That is what could be physical fitness. You have to be physically fit, and that is what you ought to do. Are you doing it out of ego? I want to prove that I am better off than this person. Ego. I'm giving you a very simple example to understand. And there are times when you don't know what is the right choice. Suggestion is take the guidance of higher intellect. Take that. Now you have thought about it, well and strong, but you're still not so very sure. Take the guidance of higher intellect. If you don't have the opportunity of consulting a higher intellect, the third aspect I would suggest is consult your conscience, that inner voice. Consult your inner voice. Every one of us have that inner voice, and inner voice will always direct you to the right way. But many of us may not have an access to the inner voice. because of an agitated mind. You'll always find you could have performed an action, but much later you regret it. I mean, why did I do it? When your mind becomes calm, your conscience comes in. So ideally, work on your own clarity, a confluence of mind and intellect. And second thing, make sure it is not influenced by the ego. I'm sure all of our controllers, senior staff, they are aware as to how I define ego. Exaggerated glorification of oneself. That's ego. Exaggerated ego, exaggerated glorification of oneself. Any choice influenced by ego, we may work in the short run, but eventually it destroys a person. And a very short run, it will help you. You will see that it's kind of a kick you get on the short run. Eventually, it destroys you. A confluence of mind and intellect. Number two, it is not influenced by the ego. Number three, if you're in a dilemma, seek the guidance of higher intellect. Number four, otherwise, seek the guidance of your inner voice, the conscience. Every one of us have it, without fail. Every one of us have it. But let me tell you, 9 out of 10 don't have an access to it because of too many agitations. When the mind is agitated, you can't think clear. You can't. Your own conscience is not available to you. So that's why I say mental fitness. To make your conscience available, you got to make your mind calm. To make your mind calm, your ego should be under control. To keep your ego under control, your intellect should be strong enough. It is many times, even in competition, they provoke your ego. They provoke your ego. I will show who I am, and they won the battle. The competitor has won the battle. If a person thinks I will show who I am, their whole purpose is to provoke your ego. So it comes down to working on yourself. All that I'm saying is every day you need to take fresh knowledge. Every day. See, I've been harping on it for so many years. Very few are taking it up, but of late, especially, do we take in fresh ideas, concepts on a daily basis? Now, we understand in business, if you don't keep reinventing yourself, maybe 5 years down the line, you may not have that kind of a business which you used to have before. You need to keep reinventing, and I've seen Sreedhar yourself always in the process of reinvention. You can't be quiet. You have to keep. So in business, we keep doing it, but with ourselves, do you reinvent ourselves? Are we taking in fresh thoughts and ideas? You could have made a choice a week ago, and if you reflect on it, was that the right choice? If it can be an even better mature choice, what can that be? This is where it's a mind stretch you're doing. You do your body stretch, your muscle stretch. If you're able to do that slowly and slowly, you will be able to work on your mental fitness. And let me tell you that any subtle efforts takes a little more time. Gross things itself takes time. To reduce from 36 inches to 32 inches takes time. This is dealing with your ego and other aspects. So it will take a little more time, but especially people in the helm of affairs, they require this mental fitness. Otherwise, you would unnecessarily be a victim of ego. I hope you're okay, Sreedhar. And
yes, absolutely. You talked about yeah. I kind of get that, but it looks like much deeper than a 1-minute answer of improvising mental fitness. There are too many topics that you have touched upon, mind and intellect, and how do you how do you make the confluence, etc. I think we need a lot more sessions to kind of understand. I do get that, Sreedharan, but I'm thinking from our audience perspective that you may need to do a few more sessions for that.
Definitely.
Another topic that you touched upon, I found it very interesting, is schedule. And you said don't prioritize. That's a bit confusing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
When I said don't prioritize what's in your schedule, especially people like you and others who are dealing with a lot of issues in life. Every day you are in firefighting mode. Every day, and I've known people. How long can you do it? There'll be a stage where you get tired of it. See, don't prioritize what's in your schedule. The secretary sends, these are the things which are there, and then you look into what should I prioritize in this. Okay, these 3 people I meet, that's a priority. That's less high priority, medium, or an average priority, low priority. Every day you may look into high priority. I'm saying this can be the rest of life, but if you schedule your priorities, I'm talking about shift the priority. Now you got to set aside what's my priority. Comes to organization, what is my priority, and schedule your priority. Your life revolves around your priorities. Your priorities. It could be your clients or your priority. Your I remember your security aspect is your priority. It is your senior management is your you as a schedule your priorities, and then that doesn't change. I come from a business family. They sell saris. High quality, reasonable price, and good service was their priority. Very simple thing. High quality, reasonable price, and good service. 90 years they're still surviving very well. That priority has never altered. Everything else comes under the purview of those priorities. Now, as a thing, so what are your priorities? See, in loose terms, we can say mission statement, but it should not remain on a board. I said schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize what's in your schedule. Then today there is this is an issue I have to deal with. Tomorrow there's another issue. This will keep on happening. It's like right now we are in the COVID scene, and if people start prioritizing, if they start scheduling their priorities, that's why there's a physical health, mental health, food, healthy food, and then sleep. A good sleep is a priority. Laughter is a priority. When I say belly, it's a otherwise. That's why I'm saying, see,
We have a
when I
lot
say
of questions. We have a lot
okay,
of questions. Yeah.
the
So
priorities. Okay,
yeah,
just to conclude with this, priorities. What
yeah.
priorities you have determines what values you uphold. That's all. If you have, if there are some people, no, there for them, marriage is coming. Therefore, physical health is a priority. After marriage, this is not a priority. But before marriage or not, see, whatever, if you have set your priorities, that determines the value systems you uphold. It is for you, the client satisfaction, the security is if whatever your priorities are, that determines the values you uphold. And if you want to improve on the priorities or get your priorities right, get your values right.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
yes.
Yeah. There are some simple questions here. I know I want to change. This is a question from Kirti. I know I want to change my thought process, think more positively about life, but every time I start thinking positively, something in my mind pushes negative thoughts. How do I overcome this? Or why? Yeah.
Right.
How
See,
does this
whenever the
happen?
negative, sorry.
Or my sub question is, why does that happen?
See, because that's the pattern you've been following. It's a pattern we got into. You may want to think positive, but the mind will see you want to achieve certain things, but the mind will think, I don't think it's possible. The mind will keep, that is the nature of the mind. Nature of the mind is to keep polluting you with various thoughts. This is where I'm saying certain aspects you got to be aware of. That's why right now gratitude, few positive. It is in simple terms. You have mind is like a child in you, intellect is adult in you. A simple aspect. Would you allow your newly furnished apartment to the suzerainty of a child, to the control of a child, or to an adult? I mean, we have to make a choice. I mean, you will never allow expensive cutlery in the hands of a child. And let me tell you, the mind you have is the most sacred, the most expensive real estate in the world. Every one of us is a multi-billionaire. Let me tell you, the real estate we have, the mind space is the most expensive, most sacred real estate space. Would you see if that is the most expensive real estate space? Would you allow somebody or some entity to come and drop the junk, the filth in your place, you will not. Similarly, do not, the mind will pollute you. Mind will test you. Let me tell you, positive thinking may not assure you success. Negative thinking guarantees failure. Positive thinking may not assure you of success. Negative thinking guarantees failure. Therefore, become aware. I'm saying, no, the problem happens is a negative thought comes in, you go along with it, go along with it, go along with it. You become negative. Your negative thought comes in, just witness it. It is not easy. Just witness it. Even anger. No? Somebody tells you something, instantly you identify with the thought, you become angry. You become angry. And somebody tells you something, just that little space you give between that thought and your response, you may not become angry. You may not become angry. So negative thoughts will come in. It is up to us to either be a witness to the thought and stop that flow. If you go along with the mind, it will keep multiplying and you cannot do it. Which simply means the mind is very strong, intellect is weak. They may have intelligence, which is in a particular field, but the intellect is weak. This is what I'm saying. You got to work on yourself regularly. How you work, could be yoga, could be running. You don't do it once in 3 months. You do it every day, at least 5 days a week. Mental fitness, we have not given that much opportunity, that much effort and time. That's why, I mean, in everybody's interest, it will come. The negative thoughts will come. It's okay. Just observe it. It will make you weak. It's okay. Keep observing the thought. Do not see to deal with the negative thought. You've got to bring in another positive thought. You have to say, look here, it's okay. I will deal with it. I will deal with it. And it is slowly and slowly. It is like a mother tells a child, look here, by 6 o'clock you have to come back home and study. 4 to 6 you can play. At 5:55 the mother goes and stands at the play area. Now the kid is still playing. After a while the child will come to the mother. Let's go home. Similarly, the intellect observes the mind for a certain period of time. It will behave properly. The child will get disciplined. The mind will get disciplined. But it is an effort. It takes time. You need to have that perseverance, consistency in you. This cannot be delegated. This has to be done by yourself. I hope it's okay, Kirti. The next question, is there any other question?
Next question is how to be mindful of the things we do. With the current lockdown and many tasks at home, we are often function as a clock and do all the things that are scheduled, but never be mindful of what we are doing. How can we overcome this?
See, when we say mindful, is being more aware.
Yeah.
How can we be more aware? It is for you to be more mindful. You need to bring in that sense of awareness. See, more than in your work aspect, if you have to be mindful, I would suggest another aspect which you are able to do. Have you developed a sense of wonderment? You see, you're in you may go in a beautiful walk in a beautiful park. What is your experience? Are you mindful of it? Do you see a butterfly and is there a sense of wonderment? I'm telling you, no, if there is a certain sense of wonderment, that awareness is there, and when it comes to work also, that awareness will come. We don't, that mindfulness is not there for most people because they are too preoccupied. They are victims of my mind is either in the past or the future. And how can we be mindful in the present? When mindful is an absolute awareness in the present scenario. So most of them who are functioning on their mind, that's why they could be intelligent, but their mind is strong. The nature of the mind is go to the past worries or the future anxieties. The nature of the mind is never to be in the present. Therefore, mindfulness is to keep the mind in the present using the intellect. And then that's it. I mean, having logged into the lecture, I want to be mindful, meaning I want to be fully present in the lecture. Right while listening to the lecture, the mind may say that the mobile, wants to check the mobile. I don't know if anyone is aware the addiction for mobile. If anyone checks the mobile once in 6 minutes, whether you receive a message or not, it's a sign of addiction to mobile. Now you have a notion. Therefore, mindfulness is absolute awareness in the present moment. You are not able to be mindful because of the mind going to the past or the future. Therefore, you can never be. That's the reason, at the end of the day, when you want to remember a few experiences, you can't, because you are not mindful in that experience. That's why there are certain people who go through negative experiences mindful. Somebody insults them. They are so much aware of that insult. They can never let go of that insult. Very mindful. Many people are mindful in negative aspects. All that I'm saying is become mindful in positive aspects. That is the effort. What unconsciously put an effort in negative aspect. Somebody tells you something. Somebody insults you. If you are not mindful, you will let go. Negative aspects, you are very mindful. Positive aspects, become more mindful. That's why when you wake up, see, a simple suggestion will work over a period of time. What is the thought you have when you wake up? First thing, all those people who attend my lectures regularly have suggested this. Now, when you wake up, the first thought is gratitude to my parents, to my master, and to the Almighty. The first thought we have is pranams to Mata, Pita, Guru, Dev. And you may say how it will help. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. You will become more mindful of your activities. It is not something just like that. That's the reason even some of the meetings you want to have, you'll have it in the conference room, because the disturbance is less. The mind doesn't go to the past or the future, and the mind will go to the past or future if you are a victim of the mind. The moment the intellect comes in, you'll be a different individual. I want to ask you whoever asked the question: is your mind where your body is now? Is your intellect where your body is? You could be sitting right in front of the monitor and the lecture is on, everything is on, but your mind may go to something else, something which is going to happen this evening. The person's mind may be stuck to it. They're not aware of it. That's the nature of the mind. Therefore, put in effort. Put in effort. Yes.
There's another question, simple question. How to avoid mental and physical burnout?
Mental to avoid mental and physical burnout, you got to understand what is the priorities I've said. That's why your well-being should be a priority. Why am I? See, you have given few aspects. Mental and physical burnout happens because you're filling the day with activities, not accomplishments. You're filling the day with activities. From the time you get up till the time you go to bed, it's full of activities, one after the other. And we have various roles. You're an entrepreneur, you're a friend, you're a partner, you're a parent, you're a son. Too many roles, too many activities, and then that's what is happening. Therefore, there's a burnout. Fill your day with accomplishments. You'll be there. How do you fill your day with accomplishments? Your mental well-being is a priority. Right now, you may say I am keeping it as a priority, but that is not strong enough a priority. I've known you become very physically fit. That's the priority. What they eat, how they exercise, even if they sleep late, they will make sure that they will do exercise. Priority. That's why, in simple terms, mental and physical burnout. For me, I've made sure that I do not allow anybody, any instance to sit in my mind and disturb. Period. This space is sacred. This space is special. No one, I have not given anybody any instance to sit in my mind and continue to disturb me. Therefore, I am to a great extent peaceful. If you allow somebody, an external entity, external experience to sit in your mind and continue to disturb your mind, there will be a fatigue. It will happen, the mental fatigue and physical fatigue. The mental fatigue happens, your enthusiasm, initiative drains, you don't feel like doing anything. Therefore, this space, the most sacred real estate each one of us have, make it like a beautiful garden. Nobody, you don't give anybody the exalted status to enter your mind and continue disturbing your mind. If anybody like that, they exist outside your mind, not in your mind. There are difficulties everybody faces, but it should exist outside your mental space, not in your mental space. Because we give an experience, an entity, an individual to continue to sit in our mind, continue to disturb our peace, there will be a fatigue. There will be a fatigue. And, all that I'm saying is we are way better than all that. And if you are, that's why priorities, the spiritual alignment I'm talking about, right? That's why if you are able to align yourself spiritually, and few aspects, work is a part of you, that's not you. Relationship is a part of you, that's not the entire you. So we have taken one role and one individual and allowed them to control us. Therefore, mental and physical fatigue is inevitable. I mean, it's just a personal example. I do not give anybody any external entity to sit in my mind and continue to disturb me. If anybody, they exist outside my mind, not in my mind, not in my mind. And you see the difference. You cannot be mentally drained out, mentally finished. You cannot be. You can still sustain your cheer and enthusiasm.
How do you cope up with another question? How do you cope up with people when you are looked up all the time as inferior?
As inferior, I mean,
As
you
in,
should be okay. When you are, you should be thankful. People look at inferior constantly pushing you to grow. Constant. If you have the right, constantly pushing. They may look at you as inferior. And see, they may look at you as inferior. The question is, do you consider yourself inferior? That's the problem. There are people who may consider you inferior. There are going to be. But when you consider yourself inferior, this is where the problem is. Inferiority complex doesn't serve anybody. Inferior, and the moment you get into it, it will give into fear and all other complications. But if you are using your intellect the right way, that's why now I always say, if you want to develop your ego, surround yourself with people who look up to you all the time. If you want to develop your ego, and everyone says, sir, it's all because of you, sir. Nothing happens without you. If you want to develop your ego, if you want to develop yourself, you surround yourself with people whom you look up to. There are enough and more people whom you look up to. You cannot feel inferior. Even if you feel inferior, it should be in the average must be so high. Even if you feel inferior, I mean, imagine that's the reason in some of those groups, right? You may feel inferior, provided your circle is Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and it is better to feel inferior in a superior crowd in a good way. But nobody can make you inferior without you allowing yourself to make yourself inferior. Nobody can make you inferior. And if you are in that, understand that it is a terrible state to be. Inferiority complex doesn't serve. Therefore, if you want to use it in the right way, when somebody tells you something, makes an inferior comment on you, think of it. Are they making sense? Is it right? Don't bring about. The problem is, how did you bring in your ego, and then you feel bad if they are made a. That's why I've shared it in the meetings as well. How do you take criticism as a feedback? How do you take a feedback either as a criticism, I mean an avenue to grow, or a personal assault? Those who consider themselves inferior, they are taking it as a personal assault, not as a. They don't take it as a feedback. Somebody tells me, your handwriting is bad. Anything I do, you don't like. Or I may feel very inferior. But if I look into it, I think there's a possibility of improving my handwriting. So all that I'm saying is, feeling inferior is a choice. And if you continue to feel inferior, it is a choice you have made. It's a choice you have made. And more and more you make yourself inferior, extremely difficult to raise yourself. Understand, it's a feedback I'm receiving from certain people. Maybe I need to work on myself. It may take a few weeks or few months, but I will work on myself. If someone else gives an feedback, I will take it objectively. I will not take it as a criticism and suffer the sorrows. So feeling inferior is a choice a person makes. But somebody with a sustaining feeling inferior is a terrible choice you can make. So once in a way it's fine, but use it as an avenue of growth. Use it as an avenue of growth. And more people tell you, I'm telling you, instead of you learning through an experience, somebody suggests you certain things, you can learn faster. Eventually, you will say, "Thank you for that correction."
Another question is losing discipline on what I want to do. Intent is great, but daily execution is giving into not so good habits. How do I improve?
Can you repeat the question, the first sentence?
Basically, the question is that, even though my intent is great to do a lot of good work, I'm not able to do it because of the not so good habits. How do I change this?
Determination. Determination. There is no see, it's like I want to do, but I'm not able to do. It is like determination is not there. It's not a strong will. It is not a see. It's like therefore, again, I'm telling you, these people. It's like I would like to exercise, but where is the time? I hardly find time when I travel 4 days a week. I'm in different cities. It's extremely. I want to do it, but after a mild attack, after a mild, I mean, a chest pain, and the doctor tells you, look here, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be in trouble. Then what happens? Even if he goes to a morning flight, the fellow will exercise and go. How did he find time? How did he find the? Sometimes these people, the fear of certain things will push them to be more determined. As a result, they will get into discipline. And let me tell you, it is discipline is you don't need to learn through experience to become disciplined. You don't need to learn. That's why they want exercise, they want to eat right food, but what to do? The place I'm living in, not proper food is available, and I travel a lot. But after a mild heart attack or a fear the doctor has induced, now fellow will keep doing it. The determination increases because of a fear, but let us not do it out of a fear, but out of a joy of health. I mean, if it's going to be physical health or a joy of working well. So it is again a fine tuning. Determination is not there, or surround yourself with people who are very disciplined. Then you may get some inputs. If you are surrounding yourself with people who are very indisciplined, you don't feel anything wrong. So it's an effort, and it may take time, but it doesn't take too much time.
I have a different theory, which is again brought from you, Sreedharan, which works with me. Is when I think of the results, and when I do some work, and when I get the results and the happiness, I remember that happiness. And every time I get sidetracked by any other habit, I think of that happiness, and I don't want to lose it. So, that kind of makes me straightened out, if that helps.
See,
And another question. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's a one way of.
There are many questions, Sridharan. Yeah,
Go ahead.
we're running out of time. Yeah. So, there is another question is, which one should I give importance, either to my responsibilities or my self-happiness?
Self-happiness.
Yes.
See, it is those who are more responsible will be more happy with themselves. When I say responsibilities, it is obligations, I would say. The obligations. I'm not talking about, it is, you're obliged to give in your maximum productivity at work. It is, therefore, see, when you feel obliged, you become more responsible. And when you're responsible and executing your obligations well, the happiness you derive will be far more. It is so you got to understand what is your notion of happiness. Most people, happiness is instant pleasures. Therefore, I'm missing out on my weekend parties and all those things. I'm not talking about those kind of happiness. Self happiness is, at the end of the day, that happiness, that it was a wonderful day. I gave my best. It could be as a parent. I'm doing my best. The self happiness that comes when you fulfill your obligations, you execute your responsibilities exceedingly well. Not one day, not regularly. Regularly. See, Mark Twain made a statement: always do the right thing. It will satisfy some and it will astonish the rest. Always do the right thing. Always do the right thing. It will satisfy some and astonish the rest. Self happiness, you'll always find anybody who does their obligations well. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita says, Karyam karma karoti sa sannyasi sa yogi. Whoever does their obligatory duties to their best is a sannyasi, is a yogi. All of us have obligations with reference to different roles. You always find, if you have done your obligations well, you have executed responsibilities well, there will be self-happiness. And this self-happiness is irrespective of others' confirmation. It's not that others tell you, you have done a great job. No, you know that you have done a great job. So that self-happiness comes in. If you are missing out on your obligations, you're missing out on your responsibilities, you may not be happy within yourself. That regret will haunt you. There is one of the regrets, or one of the 5 regrets people have the last stage of their life. One of the major regrets is, I wish I allowed myself to be more happy. One of the biggest regrets. People in the last stages of their life, I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. How many of us are allowing ourselves to be more happier? So, if you are functioning on the obligations, what you have certain responsibilities and obligations. When you understand your obligations and fulfill your responsibilities, you will be more happier. It may not happen straight away. Over a period of time, maybe whoever does it, the way Gita highlights, it's a sannyasi, is a yogi. You'll be very happy, very happy. Your voice is muted, Ashwin.
How do you define fear?
Fear.
Yeah. By the way, there are many questions,
yes.
and many people are. Some of those could be, better dealt in subsequent sessions. So
Right.
I'm not reading questions.
Okay. Yeah. I'm okay. Whatever, it's up to you.
No, there are hundreds of questions. Yeah, we need to do at least a few more sessions to answer everyone.
Sure.
But
Sure. See, fear is a person experiences fear when there is an inability to face a situation. When you are incapable of facing a certain situation, that is where it highlights fear. And the incapacity of an individual to face a foreseeable situation induces fear. And the reasons for fear, let me tell you. Number 1, selfishness. The more selfish a person is, a selfish person wants the world to cater to them all the time. Right now, a selfish person will experience enormous fear. They want the world to cater to them, their happiness. Very fearful. Number 1. Number 2, wherever there is ignorance, there is fear. Slight, cold. I think I'm having corona. Actually, he had 4 coronas the previous night. Because of that, there's a slight cold. And am I having corona? And then he, till such time he goes and checks, and then nothing, just have this, you'll be okay. Ignorance creates fear. Ignorance creates fear. I have known many employees, they have a notion, the boss is coming, he's visiting our branch office next week. He's a very tough guy. They will say, the ignorance, by mistake, he's in the elevator and the boss also gets in the elevator. fellow shivering, ignorant. Actually, that person could be very soft-natured. And the boss will turn around, hello, how are you? Hope you are enjoying the work. And he says, my God, all of these people mentioned that he's a tough guy, he's very arrogant, he's such a friendly person. Ignorance creates fear. Ignorance creates fear. Selfishness creates fear. Otherness creates fear. You go to a country, you don't know the language, otherness, and they tell you from the airport to the hotel is 20 minutes drive. The taxi fellow is taking you for 40 minutes now. Otherness creates fear. I think this fellow is taking me to another, just roaming around. If you know the language and if you know the place, and why are you taking this road, take the other one. So selfishness, ignorance, otherness creates fear, and that's when there is an expansion for the word fear. False evidence appearing real. Fear. False evidence appearing real. That more you avoid, fear grows in you. So the way to deal with fear is whatever you're fearful of, face what you fear. Face what you fear. Fear goes. Avoid fear, fear grows. Face whatever is a fear, fear goes. Face it. It will grow, it will go. Avoid fear, it grows in you. Next one.
Yeah, we have probably 2 more minutes to how to deal with an individual. He is not right in terms of his thought or approach, but you cannot tell him upfront due to several reasons. He could be the boss, he could be a powerful person.
Assessment. He could be a very powerful person, your boss or your partner. Assessment. This is how it is. Now, how do you assess? I've been harping on it for many, many years. You go to a safari, you observe a lion from a distance, enjoy the lion's presence. You will never go near a lion and play with a lion, because you will know the moment I'm there with the lion, you may have a lion's picture in your office. But you're not gonna, you'll enjoy the portrait of a lion, but you will never go near a lion and hug a lion. I missed you so much. You will not do it, because lions are ferocious. Lions are ferocious. Similarly, there are lions among human beings. It is your non-acceptance of that person which is creating all the trouble. If you're working and you enjoy the work, boss is difficult or the subordinate is difficult, you're enjoying the work, but your non-acceptance of the individual, you have not assessed the individual properly. The individual is annoying, he is manipulative, he is a dangerous guy. You are non-accepting of the qualities which creates disruptions in you. Accept the person. This is how it is. This guy is manipulative, this guy is disruptive, but I enjoy the work and there is great growth in this organization. I can't, I am learning a lot, but this I have to deal with it. If you are able to deal with a difficult person properly, let me tell you, you will go places. If you are not able to do it, you may shift the job, you will find a person, a boss who is worse than this. Better you deal with it. Assess the qualities, accept the person. How you accept a lion. When you from a distance you admire a lion, you will never go near a lion. Similarly, when a boss calls you for a meeting, understand this guy is unpredictable. He can say whatever he can. When he does something, you laugh at it within yourself, not at him. Within, you laugh. My assessment has been right. Then, if you are able to set aside your ego, accept the person because of various other qualities, you enjoy the work, you are growing, you are well paid, there is growth prospects in the organization, but this fine aspect is there, you are able to deal with it. I'm telling you, you are a leadership material.
Thank you, Sreedharan, for an amazing session. I know many of you are disappointed here because they are not able to, we are not able to spend time on all of your questions. This is very well received, over 600, almost touched 700 people in between. And I thank all of you, and on behalf of all of you and TiE Hyderabad and CtrlS. I thank Sreedharan for our, coming online and spending time with us. And to summarize of his points in terms of how do we reinvent ourselves, focus on mental fitness. To summarize everything, and there's a lot more how to improve your mental fitness, and we'll try to get his some time of his busy schedule over the next few weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sreedhar, for the opportunity, and look forward to meeting you another time whenever it is possible. Thank you for all your time. Thank you.
Pleasure.